Welcome to another edition of Begley's Mailbag here on SNY.TV. I'm Ian Begley, SNY NBA Insider, and we're here to answer your questions on the Knicks and the NBA. We will start with Be More Like State. My guy State, I love your Knicks takes, man. Keep them coming. You want to know about Miles McBride. Is he going to gain or lose minutes in the playoff rotation because he is clearly outplaying Alec Burks and outplaying Bojan Bogdanovic right now? And State, I think if McBride continues to shoot the way that he shot it lately and continues to defend the way he's defended, I think he's forcing his way into that playoff rotation regardless of what happens with Burks and Bogdanovic. And obviously, when you trade for two players at the trade deadline as an organization, you hope it works out to the degree that, these guys that you trade for are in the postseason rotation. But the way that they have played and the way that McBride has played, it makes it a no-brainer to keep him in the rotation, assuming that continues, his play continues between now and the end of the regular season, and Burks and Bogdanovic continue to struggle. It seems like McBride is essentially taking the decision out of the coaching staff's hands. And I do know, before that trade, leading up to the trade deadline, internally when there was talk of shortening the rotation and bringing somebody in at the deadline, the talk internally, part of it was about McBride and, hey, do we have to cut him from the rotation when we shorten it? But again, based on how he's played and based on how things have gone since then, it seems like he has forced his way into that playoff rotation. Got one here from the Knicks recap who wants to know, is it safe to say that after being cleared for contact, Randle will likely return during the postseason? Now, I really think you're seeing Randle still before the end of the regular season. That's just speculation on my part based on, conversations with people and how things have gone to date. As we sit here, we're talking Tuesday morning, and Randle had still not been cleared for contact. We're not sure if he's going to take the trip with the Knicks to Toronto and San Antonio, but he's been at this place now where he's doing everything but full contact for a while now. And we reported about 10 days ago that there was some concern internally about why it had been taking so long for him to be cleared for contact. I think what you're looking at here is, can Julius Randle get to a place where he's comfortable playing the way he's accustomed to playing and taking contact on that damaged shoulder? And that's a big question, right? Because you could re-injure the shoulder, you could make it worse, you could really do, I think, long-term damage to your shoulder if it's not in the right place when you get back on the court. Obviously, Knicks are going to take the opinion of medical professionals and clearly Julius Randle. I think it's just about Julius Randle at the end of the day and what he is comfortable with. Now, there's a lot of factors at play here. I don't think it's just as simple as, Randle, if he can run up and down the court and shoot, he's going to play, because he has to be comfortable doing the things that he does well, which is use his body to create separation, use his body around the basket to rebound the ball, to get points inside. If he can't do that, he's not the same player. And then you wonder if, again, there's a risk for significant re-injury. He's got an extension possibly coming up here. There's a lot of play beyond just getting back on the court to play in the playoffs. But I do think that at the end of the day, you will see Randle back before the regular season. That's just my guess, again, speculating based on conversations that I've had. But we'll see how it plays out. Right now, they're in this wait-and-see mode, and everybody's kind of on pins and needles, waiting to see if and when Randle can take that next step and start scrimmaging in a practice setting. Guard Up Knicks checks in and wants to know, with Mitchell Robinson coming back, how do you think Tom Thibodeau reintegrates him into the lineup? I think Mitchell Robinson comes off the bench initially because, with his conditioning, I don't think he can get to a place, understandably, where he could play, 35 minutes, starters minutes, night in and night out in the postseason. And also, the starting lineup has been very good with Isaiah Hartenstein in that starting five. They've played really well together when healthy. Even when people are hurt, they fit well. So I assume that Thibodeau wouldn't kind of rock the apple cart and put Mitchell Robinson back in the starting lineup. I think it makes more sense to reintegrate Robinson off the bench, allow him to get comfortable, to get his rhythm back, to get his conditioning back, and then kind of assess where you are from there. But initially, I would assume Robinson's coming in off the bench. Got a query here from SG212MSG. SG wants to know, can the Knicks bring back both Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein next season? The answer is yes. The Knicks have Hartenstein's early bird rights, so they can exceed the salary cap to sign him. I think the max they can sign him for, though, averages out to around $17 million annually. So I think it's just a matter of another team with cap space this summer. Do they come in and did they blow the Knicks out of the water with what they can offer Hartenstein? Now, the Magic have cap space this summer. They did have strong interest in Hartenstein the last time he was a free agent, so that's something to keep an eye on. But I think, if all things are equal, I'm guessing that Hartenstein would want to come back to New York because of the success that he's had with this group. So yes, there is a clear avenue for the Knicks to keep both Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein moving forward after this summer. It's just a matter of the Knicks making a competitive offer to Hartenstein and Hartenstein deciding to come back to New York. I'm sure he will have significant suitors after him this offseason based on how he's played this summer. But again, I think if all things are equal, Hartenstein ends up returning to the Knicks. They certainly would want him coming back here. That is for sure. Question coming from @KNYT Hoops. KNYT wants to know, are the Knicks trying to save OG Anunoby and Julius Randle for the playoffs? Are they still not ready yet physically to return to the court? Now, again, here, we're talking Tuesday morning before the Knicks go out on their two-game road trip to Toronto and San Antonio. And based on what we know at this point, I don't think the Knicks are trying to save either of these guys for the rest of the regular season. I think they're being cautious with both injuries. OG Anunoby's surgically repaired right elbow, Julius Randle's injured shoulder. They're not going to rush either of these guys back, but at the same time, they would love to have them back on the floor as soon as you could get them back on the floor, because the idea being you can get them into games here before the playoffs start. You can help them get a rhythm with the rest of their teammates, get a rhythm individually, and get their conditioning right for the postseason. Yeah, in a perfect world, the Knicks would want to have both of these guys back on the floor. I don't think there's been any degree of, hey, let's just sit these guys out for the rest of the regular season because it doesn't really matter. The Knicks know they need to win games, and they would love to have both Anunoby and Randle back as soon as possible. And again, with Randle, it's just a matter of him being cleared for full contact in a practice setting and getting comfortable with that element of the game. For Anunoby, he had been shooting in a shoot-around earlier this week. That's a good sign because getting cleared to shoot the ball was a big hurdle for Anunoby in his return from surgery to repair that right elbow initially. And so I guess it's just a matter of letting everything calm down, that irritation, inflammation calm down in Anunoby's right elbow before he returns to the court. So that's where we are with both of those guys as we sit here again on Tuesday morning entering this two-game road trip. Got a question on Alec Burks from Deuce McBride season JPJ. Has Alec Burks been dealing with this injury for a while, or did it just happen? Just wondering if it has anything to do with how he's been playing. Yeah, I think that it has been lingering for a bit. The shoulder injury that kept Alec Burks out of the Knicks win over Detroit on Monday. So I think it's been lingering there for a little bit. I would assume that it has impacted his shooting. I know he wanted to play Monday. He tried to play through pain and get back on the court. He wasn't able to do so. I would assume he continues to try to play through it as the Knicks go on this two-game road trip. But yeah, I think it's fair to think that injury has impacted Burks and his ability to shoot the basketball. His numbers have not been good since being traded here to New York. Knicks obviously wanting to get Burks on track, hoping Burks gets on track. So maybe having a little time off, dealing with the shoulder injury that's, again, been lingering for a bit. Maybe that helps him get on track here as the Knicks close out the regular season. That'll do it for this edition of Begley's Mailbag here on SNY.TV. Thanks for all the questions, and keep them coming because we have another edition of the Mailbag coming soon before the end of the regular season.